doing push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? It is Thursday. It is the Power Hour. It is the last day of June. Where did it go? Where did it go? The last day of June, July, right around the corner, quite literally. And, of course, the holiday weekend is upon us after tomorrow. Some of you guys getting an extra day, maybe getting the Friday off as well as part of the 4th of July weekend. So hope you'll spend it with us. Got a lot to talk about today. And one of my favorite we do this every so often when we kind of analyze and break down uniforms on the network here. And we start talking about some of the standout uniforms, not the best uniforms, but some of the standout uniforms on the network and ones that you should or maybe do not yet appreciate because you don't see all of them. If you go to our All-Star game, a lot of times you will see these uniforms all over the place. We're going to break down some of the best uniforms of the spring, summer, whether it be the high school athletes, baseball, softball, or whether it be the boys of summer at Ysn Park. We're going to break it down. And I'm going to be honest with you. We might see some Little League jerseys coming on in the next couple of weeks, so we'll have to keep our eye out for it. But we have got all that to talk about today. I want to talk about maybe, if we can get to it, either today, tomorrow, some conference shakeups that you would want to see, that maybe some rivalries that you'd want to renew or create from around the YSN world. Who would you put in conferences, or would you just do away with conferences and let them be independently all together and watch them play? I kind of like conferences, but it's got to be the right conference. So we're going to talk about that. I don't know if we'll have time today. We'll get to it by the end of the week, whether it's today or tomorrow. So before we do all of that, we got to make way for On This Day in Sports History. Roll it. All right, I'm going to preface this one on this day in sports history. I'm going to preface this because it doesn't necessarily have to do with sports. Don't know why it's on here, but I do know that I'm intrigued. On this day, June 30th, 1992, in this country, God bless America, in the city that never sleeps, New York City, the first ever paid bathroom in the U.S. opens its stall for 25 cents. So I'm going to be a first to raise my hand here. I've never had a pay bathroom that I know of. A lot of times you have to frequent a restaurant or whatever that store may be to use their facilities in order to make sure that they can pay the bills that, you know, you're using their facilities in. So I was interested. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole before the show, and it says in the United States, pay toilets became much less common in the 1970s, which was interesting because On This Day in Sports History tells us that the first pay toilet was in 1992. Maybe it was like a second time around. But basically, were at least 50,000 units in America, according to the Wall Street Journal, mostly made from the Nickelock Company. They were successful over a few years, and then the bans in New York, New Jersey, Minnesota, California, Florida, and Ohio came in. Lobbying was successful in other states as well. But by the end of the decade, paid toilets were greatly reduced in America. However, they are still in use today. And they're still made and produced by the Nikoloc Company. Many of these laws have been repealed, such as in Ohio. Legislators rescinded the ordinance that banned the pay facilities, paving the way for operators to charge for public restroom use in 2007. Again, I'm going to reiterate, I've never used a pay-to-use bathroom. Never once. And I'm not sure I really would. I don't understand it. I barely remember paid bathrooms. Dang, I am old. Bev, don't worry about it. I like, it was like a quarter, I guess, to use the bathroom. And from what I can gather, women had a much tougher time with it than men did, because they actually had to go in the stall, and men had the urinals, like the ones on the wall, that were free. So I'm crazy rabbit hole I went down. But on this day in sports history, apparently, in 1992, it was a quarter, she says. It was a quarter to go to the bathroom. Incredible. I don't, it is, I guess it's better. A quarter is better than like a medium coffee, an iced coffee or something, for like $2.88 or whatever it is, at whatever great coffee chain that you're going to go to. But I mean, you get off a little cheaper, but it's still, like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. Just absolutely crazy. And again, don't know why it was part of On This Day in Sports History. I just thought it was really interesting, and there was nobody here to stop me today, so we had to do it. Today, we are going to talk about these uniforms, and I'm a huge advocate for look good, feel good, play good, right? Look good, feel good, play good. But what goes into a really nice uniform? And the ones we're going to talk about today, they're baseball and softball, okay? So to me, it all comes down to, and I'm not a fashion expert, but I know a good uniform when I see one. And we're going to look at some today and analyze them a little bit as we go through them. I do have a tie for number one uniform. There is no real order except for number one. As we talked about participation trophies yesterday, only thing that matters is number one. And we're going to let them go at the end of the breakdown. But I'm going to bring up them in no particular order, other than the last is going to go as number one. So I want to bring up some of my favorites right off the jump. And this is for color coordination. This is for font. This is for and they have, I believe, multiple uniforms that they utilize. So first up on the agenda, and on the unveiling of the 2022 top uniforms, ladies and gentlemen, Cardinal Mooney. So you look at these uniforms, the Cardinal color of them, just overwhelming. But then you've got the gold in there as well. There you see the button-down uniform, which is one of my favorites. I'm a huge fan of the button-down uniform, just because it screams baseball. It screams softball. The white helmets pop. And if you know anything about Cardinal Mooney, you know the white helmets are tradition. So you're building tradition into a modern day uniform. You got the Cardinal on the back, which I believe is being replaced all over the place with the Block M, which I dig, because there is a little bit of confusion between Canfield and Cardinal Mooney whenever it comes to that Cardinal. Canfield uses the Arizona Cardinal a ton. They've adopted that. And Mooney's really made a push to adopt the Block M. I think they'll keep the Cardinal on the side of the helmet, but the Block M is going to be the main logo for that moving forward. But something about those colors, the red and the gold, are always going to be above, among my favorites. So Cardinal Mooney leading us off here. And the other thing, I'm not real crazy all the time about the pants matching the uniform, unless, especially when it's a color, like a white on white or a gray on gray. But I'm starting to buy into it, because the next team we have is the same deal. And when you look at this, you know that's Cardinal Mooney. Anytime they would walk onto a field, walk into a room, you see them in a restaurant, you know that's Cardinal Mooney. Here's another team that no chance you think is anybody But Ursuline, the new unis for Ursuline are unbelievable, and they look nice there. But if you see them in like actuality, like you see them on the field, if you go to one of their games, if you know you attended our All-Star game, they are incredibly bright. And one of the girls said we feel like a highlighter, but they stand out. The green on green with the gold and white trim just absolutely pops. And I'm a fan of the black uniforms that they had for the past couple of years. The black uniforms, black on black with the Ursuline logo kind of embedded into the back of the jersey with the number and the Ursuline across the back. But the green uniforms, I'm gonna admit, they are sharp. Absolutely sharp across the board. Some of my favorites in the softball world right now. And it's only because I saw them on Monday in person. Otherwise, I was kind of like, wow, those are those are impressive. But when you see them in person, and I mean, you can't match them. There's nobody that I can think of that is going to have those colors and represent. So Ursula, nice job in making sure that you stand out from the crowd. All right, so here's some other. We're going to flip into we'll stay with softball here. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Here we go. Right here. These are some of my favorite softball uniforms. It's very simple. We talked about I like having the colors the same a little bit with the tops and the bottoms. But look at how the breakup is. I mean, they have a perfect color coordination to them. You got the high socks with the rings around them, the burgundy and gold, the burgundy pants, the white tops with the burgundy stripe across with the South Range, the labeling, the numbers are all in check. Just a really, really nice jersey. And you know what? I told you, those colors, the shades of red and gold that you have, they pop. They absolutely pop. And South Range rocks those jerseys. They rock them well. Adidas jerseys, I believe they are. And they are sharp. And what I like about them that's very subtle is if you look down, this is Bree Kohler, by the way, who's now a YSU player. If you look down at underneath the sock, underneath the stirrup, the white sock is actually a stirrup, which people don't know. And you've got a burgundy sock underneath there. So you've got kind of the full package of white, burgundy, and gold going on there that South Range has done a phenomenal job of outfitting their players. And you're going to see their boys on here too, because their unis are sharp. As I don't want to say, because I know he's probably watching out there, as plain Jane as the football uniforms are, and they don't have to be necessarily over the top, their baseball and softball uniforms are out of this world, like top notch, top of the pecking order. So maybe a little bit of a nugget of where we're going to go for the baseball and overall uniforms moving forward. So congrats to South Range. What a sharp combination that is on the softball field that they have. Here's a baseball one I want you to look at. Kind of a combination. All right. And this is taken from our All-Star game. There you see Joe Roth and Luca Ricciuti modeling what I think are two of the best outfits. We already talked about Ursuline girls. I love the entire Ursuline outfit is sharp. The golds are awesome. I'm a big fan. You have the fighting Irishman on the front of the chest there. I think it's on the left chest, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have the gold jerseys with the Ursuline across the back and the green numbers with the outline in white. And on the other side, you have, and I'm still talking about Ursuline, you've got a green uniform, green top, like forest green, that they've got the gold trim, I believe Irish across the chest, if I'm not mistaken. Just a lot. It's such a good look. Green and gold is another good look, especially when it comes to it. And I think the one thing that I would really like to see, because I'm a huge advocate for the Oakland A's, if the Irish could get kind of a throwback jersey, pardon me, and they kind of give a little tip of the cap to the softball team, and they do like an Oakland A's green and gold jersey, like a old throwback of the Athletics. I think that would be so cool. I think it'd be so sharp. I think the kids would dig it, the adults would dig it, and that would certainly put them at the it's at least towards the top of one of these ranking systems for jerseys and uniforms. But I got to talk about the Falcons. Austintown Fitch, they came with it this year. I mean, they just continued to bring jersey after jersey, uniform after uniform. But I got to tell you, and I know that Mark had, or I'm sorry, Joe had all 10 uniforms or whatever they had. These ones are at the top, but it's a tie with the powder blues. It's a tie with those powder blues, which is the old school throwback to the Austintown Fitch Falcons of yesteryear. But man, there's something just special when you're at a baseball field and you see those clean white uniforms with a dark cap. There you see the navy blue with the red bill and the script Falcons across the chest. Something special about those uniforms. But the navy blues, or I'm sorry, the baby blues that I don't have a pic of to show you guys, you're just going to have to take my word for it. They are spectacular, and they should be in the wardrobe each and every year for Austintown Fitch. Okay, Bev's saying so far, Mooney is my favorite. All right, respect. I like that. Let's see who else we have here. These are some of my favorites right here. Okay, boom. I love the Cardinal Grays from Canfield. There you see Jake Gerdick throwing an absolute laser, guaranteed. The red cap is a must. It's awesome. They brought it back this year. They'd had the black cap. They had the black and gray cap with the Cardinal on the bat. The logo is where it's at, to be honest with you. And Canfield was crystal clear that their baseball team has a separate logo than every other team at Canfield, and it's the Cardinal with the bat on the bat rather. And I just love how it's interlocked with the Cardinals. There you see the kind of script Cardinals across. It's very much St. Louis, but it's also very much Canfield. These are my favorite, like among my favorite uniforms. You can interchange the hat. You can put the black hat with the red brim. But the red just makes it pop, and see the black outline, the bold outline. It's just sharp, and it's one of those you throw it over. There's no buttons or anything. It's an over the head jersey, and it is, to me, one of my favorites that we see. So big fan of that. Look at this. Look at this cat. You can watch this match in the best quality. Link below. No, you can't. There's no match to watch. I love bots, man. I love these bots, but I also love these jerseys. Canfield Cardinals get a plug here for some of the best jerseys in the YSN ecosphere with these beauties right here. But you can't go anywhere without this. And see, even Digital DJ there showing off the uniform. JFK. There is no jersey. I don't care what anybody says. There is no jersey that is better than a combination of red, white, and blue. And Kennedy does it so well. They use their whites primarily, but both Michael Morrow and Gavin Schrum showed up in two different navy blue uniforms on Saturday. Michael had the full sleeve there, and Gavin had a short sleeve, like a vest, which I'm a fan of. I like vests, but there's something about a red, white, and blue uniform that 100% will always take the cake. And you see the Kennedy proudly across the chest in the red with the white outline, the numbers the opposite with white with red outline, and just a sharp uni. The blue hat just with the K, the Kennedy, they're all proud of the K, which they should be. And then the red brim, which is very Indians like, Braves like, things of that nature. So big fan of that. I like people commenting, and Cullen dropping the laugh track on us with people trying to spam us. This one's from the Summer League. Ballistic. So I love from this standpoint, I'm a huge fan of the color scheme, right? The dark gray, like charcoal gray. But then they've got the red built in there, but they also put in the baby blue, the Carolina blue in their uniform. They got the vests going. There's a lot of people that are not crazy about this uniform. There's pinstripes. There's a lot going on. pinstripes. They've got extra stripes like on their pants that are it's blue outlined in white, I think. You got a bunch of different colors going, but what I like about them is they're versatile, right? So if it's too hot to wear the vest, they can take the vest off, and I'm pretty sure they have ballistic representation on the blue undershirt and as well as their number and possibly even their name. So a good look, I think, for this. I'm a fan of it. Most people we're getting hit up again by these people, and they must be just looking for pictures. But I'm a fan of this ballistic uniform in a big way, like a big way. People are, I mean, this is the one that people look at and they're like, yeah, I don't know about that one, but I think it's because they took a shot. They took a chance and they said, hey, we're going to go out. We're going to have a certain look to us. And it's proudly represented on the chest. There you see ballistic. They've got the blue with the red outline. They've got white with the blue and red outline. And then they've got the charcoal hats to go with it. The only problem I see in charcoal hats and like light gray hats in general is when you sweat, because you can see the sweat through the B right there. It just absolutely changes color on you. And that's the last thing you want is to see how much you're sweating through in one of those games. So that's the only thing I've learned about gray hats is they show sweat more than any other hat that I know of. So maybe even if they went like the blue hat with the red, I think I'd get behind it. But I like the jerseys. I'm indifferent on the hats. I like the red bill, but that's about it for that one. Here's one I can get behind right here. These are sweet. Whiting looking real good this year, looking like Vandy. They adopted, see, typically, because most of them, I believe, are Pennsylvanians anyway, so they love that black and gold. So they've had, and I think I'm right in saying this, I think they had black jerseys last year or 2 years ago, and now they're adopting like this Vegas gold with the black, and it is sharp. Like, it is super sharp. They got the star on top with the W in it, looking like Vandy. Like I said, Vanderbilt baseball. They might be able to roll with a secondary jersey or uniform set with the black with the gold trim, and then you're really looking like Vandy. That would be sharp. And I think they've had it before or something similar. But these new golds with the white pants and the black trim on them as well, they look, and you can see right down to the belt loops are the same color gold as the uniform, which I'm a fan of because it's, again, look good, feel good, play good. And Whiting right now is again looking good, and they're playing good as well, playing well, I should say. A couple more to get to. It looks like we're going to get to a couple more topics here today. Here's one that people don't give a lot of love to. All right. So that's Riley McElwain running around trying to take off a third base, the Clippers. And you're very rarely are you ever going to hear a Bulldog say this. But I'm a big fan of pinstripe, but red and black pinstripe on a white uniform is super sharp. Super sharp. The Clippers have multiple jerseys, but Riley showcasing the white vests with the pinstripes, with the Clippers across the chest, with the number on the left side, just looking like the Cincinnati Red Machine. And it's a good look. It's a really, really good look. And their other ones are red tops with the Clippers across the chest and bigger numbers. But I'm a big fan of these ones. I like these ones a lot. I think they're doing a phenomenal job over there, making sure that the brand stays on point from the Clippers standpoint. The colors are solid. The numbers are almost similar to the other teams in football and basketball. So there's kind of a theme here. And that's what colleges do. If you're not aware of it, most colleges have their own branding. Like they'll work with the Under Armours, they'll work with Nike, and they'll have kind of their own font system that every single uniform that they have is represented with that branding. So the same fonts on your football uniforms are on your baseball, softball, whatever it may be, basketball. And Columbiana's kind of figured that out is, hey, this is what colleges are doing. We should probably do something along the same lines, keep the red, the black, part of it. But Columbiana has had some like, they're almost rounded numbers over the last few years. And they've adopted that, and they've done a phenomenal job of doing so. And the branding stays and remains the same. So for Columbiana to be ahead of the game on that, I'm proud of them. I really am, because most people are trying to figure out, okay, how do we keep the same look, the same feel, and make it ours? Everybody goes with the Michigan State font. Like, everybody goes with the Michigan State font. Very popular font, very readily and accessible to people doing jerseys. But the reality is it's not yours because everybody else is doing it. Everybody likes it. But if you can find a font, make it yours, make it, this is the Columbiana font like they've done, people know. And when they see that, they go, I've seen that before. And then they draw it back to where they saw it, which would be Columbiana. So good job for the Clippers and Aaron over there and doing a great job making sure everybody's outfitted similarly. Okay, we got more comments. Is it more people? Sure is. Here's comments. Gotta go. Hope to watch the rest later. But my favorites are brown, white, and orange. Good dogs. As in EPHS. Thank you, Bev. Appreciate that. She says she likes ballistic too. And Colin said he liked one as well. Said that one was cool. Let's go to a couple more before we take a break, and then we'll talk about some conference realignments. Again, they're not happening per se, but where would you want to see them happen? All right, let's go with, so these are the ones that I think, and they're very similar except for color. I like these better than any other uniforms that we've seen across the board. Also, honorable mention, I don't have a picture of it, the Hubbard Baby Blues. The Hubbard Baby Blues are perfect. Like, could not be better. And they are really sharp. They look like Kansas City Royals-esque. Very, very nice. So the Hubbard Baby Blues are also on this list. I just don't have a picture of them. Let's go to, all right. Again, no order, both champions right here. And there you see South Range. I am a huge fan of these uniforms, the sunsets. They got these in 2020. 2020. It was, is it 2020? I don't know. The last couple of years they got these uniforms. I still like their white uniforms that they passed down to their JVs as well, that they won the state championships in, and the burgundy ones as well. I like those, but these ones are sharp. The only way they could get even a little bit better, just a little bit, is there where you see the South Range with the gold around it and the outline. If they would have made the white fill in South Range, I think that would have it'd be a perfect jersey. Absolutely perfect jersey. I love the sunset look to it. It's different because it's burgundy and gold. It's not the typical colors you'd see in a red, a white, and a blue, or a blue, orange, and a white, and things of that nature. The sunset works, and Jim Hannock did a great job of picking these out. You rock the white hat with the flag on it. You get the white pants going. A lot of these kids have the white shoes as well. Even if you wear black shoes, it still pops. So just a good, I'm going to say great jersey. That's a great uniform. It's a great look. It's a light jersey. It's not going to weigh them down, and it's just a really good look for them. So let's give our hats and credits due to South Range for that. Just a great look uniform. And here is your champion, also the Astro Falcons. Another sunset uni, and Don Pletcher did a phenomenal job of picking these ones out. Now, what I like about these ones is they are perfect replicas of the Houston Astros, like the old school Houston Astros. The one thing that I think, and you can't do this if you're South Range. Let's do, look back here real quick. So see the number 20 for Billy Skirpak is still there. It's still and you can see it very well. But then when we click back to this one, the Astro Falcon, you've got the star, and the star ties everything together, right? You got the Astro star on the jersey, the Astro star on the white hat that they have, and it's just clear as day Astro. You know who you're playing. You got the high socks and the stirrups there with the blue and orange. Just a good look. Just a good look. And I know there's a lot of people that are sitting there going, oh, yeah, that's right, Mark. No red pants. Never red pants. Never, ever, ever red pants, especially if it's red everything. The red uniforms, the red pants. Ugh, that's where I draw the line. Fitch is the only school, I think, or the only one for me that have the best uniforms and the worst uniforms all in the same set. Because as much as I like the red tops, when they did the red bottoms, I am not a fan of that. Just not a fan. They have to match, and I don't think they matched. But the baby blues, I can get behind. I can get behind the baby blues with the white pants. But the Astros, to me, they and South Range take the cake. If you haven't figured it out, I'm a big fan of the sunset uniforms, just because there's an element of old school to them, but an element of like, hey, this is tradition, but it's also back in action here in 2022. So congratulations. Not that you win any prizes or anything like that, but really cool to take a look at some of these uniforms and get your opinions on them. We have some comments coming in. Cullen says, South Range 1, Ursuline Girls 2, Ballistic 3. Okay. I can get behind that. That's a good. Ballistic is one that you either love or you hate their uniform. It's so absolutely polarizing, because some people absolutely love them. Wow, those are different. The charcoal is what really gets people, in the combination of the blue and the red and the charcoal. And then some people are like, nope, too much. There's too much buzz going on. There's a lot of noise happening there. But I'm a fan of them. I'm a fan because they took a risk and it looks good, and they've stuck to their guns. So hats off to Ballistic. And again, Astro Falcons to me have the best uniforms alongside South Range. Those sunsets are sharp, like as a tack. So that's our look at the summer and the spring in uniforms. We'll do it again in football season, and we'll check it out. Yes, Whiting, Vandy, black with. They do have them? Okay, so Mark's confirming them. They do have them. We just haven't got pictures of them with the black and gold pinstripes. Because we actually talked about that, Mark, is if they had those like as alternates or secondary jerseys, man, that would be sharp. So Whiting could roll up here on the list, because their golds are really nice. But if you combine those with the black pants with gold trim, that might look pretty fire as well. I agree with you. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk conferences. Let's talk conferences and who you would want to play and who you'd want to see in conferences from YSN teams. Let's find out that and more when we turn on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by these great supporters.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Appreciate you hanging out with me on this Thursday. Just trying to get through the week. A lot of us going to be taking some time this weekend celebrating the country, whether you're doing it on Sunday, Monday, all weekend long, whatever it may be. Make sure that you do celebrate the greatest country in the world and the freedoms that we have to live in it, to be in it, and again, to celebrate it here on the Independence Day weekend. Just so it is one of my favorite, if not the favorite holiday that I have. You know, it's not about gifts. It's not about, anything about giving somebody something. It's about celebrating where we live, the great country, the great freedoms that we have. And, without getting too political with all the divisiveness that we've had in this country over the last 2 years or whatever it may be, our holidays have, kind of tied us together and everybody wants to talk about our country and how it's, this, that, and the other, right. And talk poorly about it, but it is still, to me, the greatest country in the world with the greatest men and women defending our country each and every day and our freedoms and everything that goes with it. So celebrate them. I know it's not necessarily a military holiday, but it's a holiday that we gained our independence from, obviously, England. And, we stood up for things that we believed in, and that's why we're here. And it's why this is the greatest country in the world for people like us to be able to start businesses at, our own free will and go after the pursuit of happiness. And certainly over the last 5 years, especially, every one of you have contributed to the happiness of YSN and everybody along with it. So I affirm and grateful thank you to each and every one of you. And just a thank you for being supporters, and thank you for watching our shows, and thank you for all that you do in supporting these local student athletes. Everybody points to us, but we couldn't do it without you. It's just how it is. And, as we celebrate our freedoms this weekend, this is, again, one of my favorite holidays, and excited to do so, and excited to do so with my family and all the great things that we've built here at Your Sports Network. So thank you. Want to take a moment and say thank you for that. And this next segment. Okay, so let's preface this. Let's put this all on the table. About 5 years ago, there was the great shakeup of the conferences in Northeast Ohio. You talk about the Steel Valley Conference. You talk about the EOAC, the NE8, the MVAC. All of these different conferences basically were shaken up from one or another conference, whether it be the ICL, the TCL, the ITCL, the All American Conference. I always get that one in the ACC mixed up. Like, I always feel like I'm going to say the wrong thing, regardless of what conference they're in now. Where would you want to see these teams play? Who would you want to see these teams play? Would you want to see them play each other? And we've seen a lot over the last 5 years of local teams not necessarily playing local teams. And I think with everything that we're facing in the country, I think we're going to start seeing that swing back. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are second guessing, okay, why are we mad at each other again? It's like being mad at your mom or your dad, and then or vice versa, the mom and dad being mad at you, and 15 minutes goes by and you wait, what were we fighting about? I think we're going to see a lot of that in these conferences over the next 1 or 2 years. And it might be a little bit longer than that. But I have to believe that sooner or later, some of these schools that were not playing each other for one reason or another are going to have to fill a schedule. They're going to have to figure out that petty differences are not the reason to keep digging into high bus count, like gas mileage. People don't really realize that there's kind of a shortage on bus drivers right now. There's a shortage everywhere. So why wouldn't it be with bus drivers too? And when you're sending people in teams and programs to different places, and I'm not just talking about high school, I'm talking about middle school, you got to start kind of looking at that bottom dollar and how much are we losing by sending our kids to a school that's 50 minutes away as opposed to 5 minutes away or 10 minutes away. And I think that at some point, superintendents, athletic directors, and school boards, quite frankly, are going to be under some of the pressures of, hey, explain to me why we're not playing this team again. Explain to me why we're paying X amount to go be part of a conference that we can be part of 2 other conferences that are 5 times closer. And this isn't an athletic director problem, because quite frankly, I've asked them and they all kind of say the same thing, is it's kind of out of their hands. I have a problem with sending kids to a middle school, let's say it's a volleyball game, right? Just picking a sport out of thin air on a Tuesday at 6:00. That's 2 hours away. I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with that for a lot of reasons, but there's colleges that don't travel 2 hours to go to a match on a Tuesday. And you're going to, like, a 7th grader or an 8th grader, someone who's not even in high school, that isn't used to that travel, and we're sending them 2 hours away because we can't all get along with schools that are 5 minutes away. That's a problem. That's a problem, and I get it. The world of open enrollment has changed everything. It has made everybody actually make you run things like a business, because I am for, and there's going to be people that are going to maybe not attack me for this, but are going to raise their radars on me. I'm for open enrollment, but I'm also for capitalism. I'm also for all of this stuff. I'm a business owner, right? For me, if I'm in the same school district that either I'm not respected at, whatever it may be, my son or daughter's not respected at, they're not getting the proper whatever they need, whether it be academics or whatever, nourishment. Yes, people leave schools because the food isn't great and it's not helping them. Kids need a break in the middle of the day, and they need to be able to eat. And, if the school lunches aren't up to snuff, or, they're only getting 25 minutes or whatever it may be to eat an entire meal and they go back, there's problems to that. Things that I never thought I would discuss, by the way. I never thought I'd be in this discussion and trying to kind of dig a little bit deeper than hey, do they send a lot of kids to college? Do they send a lot of kids, are they going to play sports? Not how are they at sports? Are they sending kids to college, and are they playing sports? Things of that nature. I don't care about records. That doesn't affect me. I care about the character of the kids that are coming out of the school. To me, that's the ultimate goal for children is, are they able to earn an education if they work hard? And are they able to earn scholarships or opportunities to play the things and do the things that they're passionate about, whether it be sports or otherwise, at the next level? That's kind of what I'm looking into. But if you're looking at these conferences, what schools would you want to see play one another? I know one for a fact is I miss wholeheartedly is Crestview taking part in some of these, East Palestine and Columbiana and some of these EOAC matchups, or I guess TCL matchups, that they had been around for forever. And I think that's and there's a lot of reasons to that, and there's a lot of finger pointing going on. But the number one problem, the people that are affected the most are the kids and the parents, to be quite honest. And it stinks because that was it's our town versus your town. Whose is it going to be at the end of the night? And Columbiana and Crestview and East Palestine and Crestview, those are big time rivalries that have been lost over the last 5 years. And you look at some of these matchups and I think that they're perfect fit for each other. The schools are relatively the same size. The kids played each other growing up. They still play each other, as far as I know, in Little League and things of that nature. And then at high school, it just kind of, or I guess middle school, it just kind of disintegrates. I mean, there's more out there. There's a lot more out there. Canfield and South Range is one that I'm hearing is no longer going to happen. Poland and Canfield was one that we heard might not happen. Luckily for us, cooler heads prevailed, and they were able to kind of make that connection, because if you can't have Poland Canfield, I mean, that's one of the elite. That's like saying Ursuline and Mooney don't play. There's something wrong with that. It just doesn't add up when these teams don't play. And, it kind of leaves a lot to the imagination, which is okay. You want to think that you're going to win every game that you don't play, right? Well, if we would have played him, we would have beat him. But you don't know, because you didn't play. And whoever wins that last summer matchup, that summer going into your 7th grade year, they have bragging rights, for 6 years, basically the rest of their lives over you. So it's a tough pill to swallow if you're a student athlete and you lose that game, because you'll never know what would have developed. I know from my perspective, there's people that I wouldn't have had in my wedding that went to different schools, that if we didn't play and there wasn't a little bit of trash talk and a little bit of bragging rights, that those relationships probably wouldn't have developed. We hated each other when we were in 7th and 8th grade. But as you develop relationships and kind of the same tastes as you move towards college, or you move towards the after high school life, you develop these relationships with these guys or girls that, you keep seeing on the ball field, or you keep seeing on the floor, or the gridiron, or whatever it may be. And maybe you guys cross paths, or your girls cross paths, and your families become friends. Or maybe it's, hey, we're at so many of these together. Why don't we just jump on the same team from a AAU standpoint, or from a travel ball standpoint? And that way there's, you're saving gas, you're saving time, and you create a new friendship. All things that when you start eliminating games, when you start eliminating these rivalries that are natural, that if this school goes, right? When you eliminate those, you're eliminating these friendships. You're eliminating these possibilities for maybe your family is one of them one day. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how many people have come up to me, and as an East Palestinian, and they say, well, I never would have thought that this person would ever go to this school, would go to Columbiana, or would go to Crestview, or go, I'd never see them in these colors. That's the way it works. That's the way the world works. Not everybody that graduates from East Palestine is going to have a kid that plays for East Palestine, and vice versa. All these different schools. Life happens. Sometimes you got to move a little closer to a place where you work. Sometimes your wife is from a certain place. Sometimes your husband's from a certain place, and you move there because there's better opportunities for you. I'm not saying open enrollment's the end all be all, but what I'm saying is open enrollment seemed to open Pandora's box for all of this. Because when kids, trust me when I say this, people don't believe me, but open enrollment just made everything kind of open. I mean, I know that's dumb to say. It just literally just put a light, shined a light on everything that was already happening. Kids were transferring schools and having new residencies before open enrollment started. Now it's just, if a parent gets mad because a kid gets a B instead of an A, or your kid's not playing, that's what open enrollment is you can be pissed off and you can move to another school and your kid probably won't play there either. But you're showing them, right? You're giving them the business. Open enrollment is meant to be an opportunity for kids that are not functioning at their highest level to be able to give them a pathway to success, not to take an opportunity for you as a parent or a guardian to say, hey, my kid isn't going to go here because he's not or she's not playing, or he's not or she's not getting the grades they really deserve. And then going like that's not what open enrollment is intended for. That's not. And anybody who is a super or involved in the academics is going to tell you that. It's not used as a bargaining chip. It's not supposed to be used as a leveraging tactic. Open enrollment is supposed to be just as everything else, a pure observation of, hey, we don't want to penalize you because you're going to a different school because we think you can fulfill things that you otherwise weren't getting elsewhere. To me, that's what open enrollment is. But as so many other things, it's been used as a weapon. It's been used as a weapon, and it's been abused through academics, athletics. And that's why we have these troubles with putting programs together. We have troubles with because my kid, I'll drive them 25 minutes if it means that they don't have to be on a bus for 3 hours on any given night. Because remember that Tuesday we talked about, a Tuesday that a volleyball team is going to go 2 hours to play. A 7th grade volleyball team going to go 2 hours to go play a match. Let's say that they get swept. Okay. Let's say that 3 sets to none, they're toast. So you get to the school. Let's say if the match is at 6:00 and you get to the school right after school, right? You go home, get a snack, get back. If school lets out at 2:30, you got to be back to the bus by 3 for a 2-hour bus ride that gets you at 5. So you can warm up, play the 7th and 8th grade. Let's say the 7th grade plays at 6:00, right? So you got an hour to get ready, prep, whatever. You play that game. Let's say it's an hour. That takes you to 7:00. 8th grade plays. That takes you to 8:00. You get on the bus after, dilly-dallying around like usual. Let's say 8:30. You've got a 2-hour bus ride back. That puts you back at school at 10:30. You're back home at 10:45. You've got to do your homework. That puts you at 11:45 with an hour worth of homework. You brush your teeth, take a shower. You're at midnight, and then you got to do it again. Let's say you get up at 6:00 the next day. So from 3:00 to midnight, you're booked. Oh, but by the way, you got to go to school the next day. So you, as a 7th grader, 8th grader, you get about 15 minutes to yourself from 6:00 in the morning to midnight. I'm sorry. That's not what I want my kid to go through. I'm not saying that I want them out there wandering the streets. But what I'm trying to get at is these conferences, whatever they may be, have to start opening their eyes to what they're putting kids and parents through. ADs understand it because the ADs have to go through it. The ADs have to go through it. But from a perspective of a fan, a grandparent, a mother, a father, brother, or sister, you have to figure out a way to get these kids, these programs playing each other again in conferences that are built around regions, being local, not just we're going to create a power conference and not think about any of the fallout of it. It's not okay to have a kid under your watch from 6 a.m. to midnight unless you are a parent or a guardian. That's these kids should not have to have days that long. Imagine if you guys at home, imagine if you parents had days that were that long. And some of you do, myself included. Those aren't the funnest of days. Now imagine if you do. I don't know how many games you have in a middle school season, but I'm guessing at least 10. Imagine if you had to do that 5 times. That's rough. That is rough. Let's get to that'll put a wrap on the mainstay of today's show today, the conference stuff. I didn't get to dive in as much as I wanted to. You got the gist of it, I hope. These schools just need to play each other. And okay, I get it. Now you get a little shakeup with what divisions they reside. Okay, let's get back to the table of, because I've said this before. I'll say it again. I feel like another conference shakeup is coming. I just feel like it's right around the corner. You get that kind of tension in the air with some of these. I mean, you see Jefferson leaving the NE8. I just don't know. I have my speculation. It's not negative. I just feel like you get that feeling like, okay, something's going to happen here. These schools are kind of getting fed up a little bit with, it's like when you get too close to people, like you know what they're going to say before they say it, and you can almost read their mind. And I think a lot of that's starting to happen. And I think we're going to see it sooner rather than later. Don't take my word for it, but when it happens, just remember where you heard it first. Let's get to the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? It's a Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by our friends over in North Lima. Visit them on their campus, and I don't know, like I always say that, but I wonder what happens. Like, do people just show up at Joe Dickey Electric and knock on the door and say, hey, I have an electrical problem? Like, I don't think that's the case. You're probably better off calling them, or even better than that, visit their website at dickyelectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to hit up our great friends. And I mean great friends over at Joe Dickey Electric. Eric Carlson, the best there is. So make sure you hit him up and let him know that YSN sent you over there. All right. Here's one that I've really been trying to wrap my head around. So in the sports world, there's, especially in baseball, I feel like everybody always says, well, they're not doing that well, so just move them to another position, right? Football, well, they're too heavy to be a running back, so move them to fullback. They're not good enough to be a quarterback, or not tall enough to be a quarterback, so move them to wide receiver. Baseball, it's, well, that guy's too tall, so move him to first base. Like, I heard this on 93.7 The Fan, which I'm an avid listener of, with O'Neal Cruz. Dude, 6'7", 220. I heard it with Josh Bell, who was widely regarded as one of the best draft picks the Pirates have had. It wasn't a bust, but he wasn't what we ended up wanting or needing. He drafted out of high school, and you just never know. But I will say this. It seems like every time that a player doesn't live up to the potential that fans or talking heads have for him, they want to move him. And it bothers me because it's so easy for us as fans to sit there and say, well, he didn't work out as a shortstop, move him to first base. He's 6'7". Or that quarterback didn't work out. He's not tall enough. Move him over to the slot receiver. Or the kicker, he's okay, but we need a punter. So I want to break this down and let people know that when you say that, number one, you sound so goofy. Like 100%. You're out of your gourd. Because I don't know what these people do for a living, but that would be like if they were an accountant. And I just said, hey, you know what? You messed up on my invoice here, or you messed up on X, whatever this is. Put variable here. You should go be a plumber. Same thing. If electricians, okay, you messed up. You should go be a plumber. You both have toolboxes. That makes sense, right? That's not how it works. It's completely different. If you're a catcher, oh, well, you should be able to go play first base. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Those are two completely different positions. I don't understand the logic behind it. I have no clue where this came up or where it took off and how it got legs. But I got to tell you, folks, that is completely false. Just because you can do one job does not mean you can do another. Just because you can catch does not mean you can pitch, vice versa. Just because you're a quarterback does not mean you're a pitcher in baseball. Just because you're a good coach in baseball does not mean you're a good coach in the other sports. Sometimes you're just a good athlete. Sometimes you're just a good catcher. Sometimes you're a great plumber, an electrician. Sometimes you're a great accountant. That does not mean that you're a great everything. And I think that's where fans are dropping the ball, because I'm not asking you to specialize, but just because you're great in checkers doesn't mean you're a great chess player. That's going to do it for our show. Hope you had fun. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll close out the week for you all the way till Tuesday, because everybody is taking Monday off for the holiday. Hope you are too. We thank the people that never, ever take a day off. Again, our men and women in the great military of the United States of America. God bless you. God bless this country. And we'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the network. Peace. Ysn thanks you for watching this